We have a caller from Israel. So I want to talk to, is it Sarel? Sarel?
Yes, you pronounced it right the first time. I'm glad.
Sarel, hey! All right. You're talking to Eric and Owen.
Yeah,
what do you want to talk
luck.
about? Yeah.
Like I said, the question, are you an atheist, comes up a lot on your show, Matt's show, and lots of the other shows. And a lot of times the response is either yes or no. Right?
Yep.
You hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Maybe I got cut off there a second.
No, you're correct.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the question would be, are you theist or atheist?
So that's either, like, if you were to ask me, are you an atheist? And so my answer would have to be either yes or no. Mm-hmm. Now, I would say, and I spoke to some other people also, I mean, I was wondering, I wouldn't say that there could be a middle ground, but I was thinking, could there be a middle ground where my answer wouldn't be yes or no?
So that that is definitely something interesting that I thought about for a long time, and I think it's binary, man. It's so.
Let me ask you this, Eric, and maybe you can kind of clarify the position. I think if somebody says, "Are you an atheist or not?" Is that binary? Is the question, right? Ultimately, I think the question, when you boil it down, is, do you believe that there is a God? And the two answers you can have are, yes, I do believe there is a God, or not yes. Like, it's not yes or no necessarily. It's not a true or false type of situation. I think it's a true or not true situation. And there's a difference between not true and false, right?
Beautifully put.
Right.
Thank you.
That's very logical. And when I spoke with a friend of mine who's a historian who follows the teachings of Buddha, he said, well, yes, it could be yes and no, but like he brought the yin yang, where it's black on one side, white on one side, the two black and white dots in the middle, where there's always black and white on each other the other side. He also got into a lot deeper. I didn't fully understand him, but like I was taking your position where it's binary, it's either true or not true. And he said, no, you got to keep an open mind. There could be other possibilities. And I brought up logic. And he says, well, logic is the basis of reality, but then you have to still think beyond logic sometimes.
Like how?
What do you say about his point of view on it?
How do you think beyond logic? Can you expand on that? I get the impression that this person you were talking to was speaking in ways that were kind of confusing to you and me. And you didn't really completely, connect with what they were saying. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. He explained to me over and over and over again for like half an hour. I was like, "What? I still don't get it." Open mind, and he's got all these different terms.
Well, I think that's because often that kind of language is obfuscation, whether they understand that it's obfuscation or not. Instead of going, I understand the concept, you're replacing it with, wow, that's deep. And stopping the conversation there. But if you get to, wow, that's deep, that doesn't mean you learned anything. It means that you got snowed. You've got to go back. You've got to really listen and go through. And I think that that's something that happens not just in Buddhist practices, but a lot of New Agey woo type language is people trying to say nothing at all with as many words as possible. You get a lot of Deepak Chopra type crap.
Yeah.
And
maybe.
Ultimately, that doesn't mean that this person is intentionally trying to obfuscate. It may be that they take, wow, that's deep, as then it must be true. But I would advise against it.
I brought up the idea of, what?
Oh, I was just saying I would advise against that. Go ahead.
Okay, so I brought up the idea also of, how the question of are you atheist or not atheist, true, false, is not something, it's about something internal in your mind. You have to know. Like I said, you have to know either yes or no. It's not like it's something external. Is there a God? Yes, no, I don't know. Or, the many different translations and interpretations of God that there are out there. Yeah, like, it's like I say, there's as many gods as there are people in the world, and probably more. But the question of are you atheist it's internal of your own knowledge. So like I told him that there has to be a yes or no answer. He still wouldn't move. So I just don't feel like there's any way to get through to those types of thinkers.
Probably not.
Extreme out of the box thinkers.
Yeah, probably not.
Right?
I know Tim mentioned it and come up with it, but he's the one I first heard it from when he said, keep an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it definitely is an interesting conversation. And in the future, I would advise against the 100% certainty thing, because I don't think that I have 100% certainty about pretty much anything. But we have degrees of certainty, and we do our best to understand things as much as we can. But, coming to 100% certainty on a thing is not the kind of universe that we can live in. Unless we're talking about deductive,
exactly.
Statements.
That's the whole point of this question is that there's this 100% certainty of atheist or non-atheist. Like, I'm not 100% certain I'm atheist. Like, I sometimes have sway back towards theism or pantheism or whatever it may be. Atheism. I'm always skeptic.
Actually, I don't know if it goes that way. I think you could say I'm not 100% sure about the God claim. But the atheist position is simply the negation of the God claim. So it doesn't actually have, so a competing hypothesis that you need to believe in.
Right.
Just that the God claim hasn't met its burden of evidence. Burden of proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I guess I would, if I were to bring up these points to him, it would be moot. So I don't know. I was hoping I'd maybe get some sort of like kicker to bring back to him or something.
Ask him if something deep means that it's true, because if it doesn't mean that it's true, then he should be able to put it into better language that you can understand. And if he can't do that, then he probably needs to study a little better, because if you are a good teacher, you should be able to rephrase it in different ways such that the person can understand you. But if all you're doing is creating more and more obfuscation by making it sound deep but not have any, I think of it as empty calories. Why are you going to waste your time on intellectual junk food? Because it's just not getting anywhere. So
and like he never actually claimed that I'm like not smart enough or anything like that. Kind of like what the Orthodox Jews and what Christians do sometimes when you can't grasp their claims with it. But I kind of felt that way,
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Anyway,
but
just want to get your opinion on it.
Absolutely. Calling in from Israel. We appreciate it. What time is it over there?
It's right now 10:40.
Okay. Well, then you didn't have to stay up too late. That's
actually,
good.
I'm really happy that I got to speak to you guys today, because I spoke with our Israeli version of yours and the Atheist Experience show. We have the Atheist line here in Hebrew. Started
That's awesome.
a year ago. Yeah,
that's awesome. So, I think I got an email from them a while back.
Hebrew is called. What?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a shout out to them if possible.
Absolutely. How can people find them?
It's called the Hakav Ha'ateisti in Hebrew, or the Atheist Line, and it's on YouTube, Facebook, and everything. So if there's any Hebrew speakers out there, who want to hear the Hebrew version, it's out there.
That's awesome. Thank you for calling us, man.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you.